Welcome back to the channel. I cannot say thank you enough. I know you will get tired of that, and I will try to quit as early as possible, but right now I am still just in shock. I wanted to talk just a little bit about the term that I used in that decluttering my bedroom video called Essentialism. And I think it's worth taking some time to just stop and explain where I'm at with that. Years ago, I served as a Christian Servicemen Center director in both Scotland and England. We lived over there for about 5 years. And one of the things that I experienced was learning about this concept of praying without ceasing. In the early church, in the early Catholic Church, they still have this prayer. There is a prayer that they were saying as a communal prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of David, have mercy on me, a sinner. I may not be quoting that directly, but something to that effect. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of David, might have said Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And that is an excellent way to start every prayer, to just admit that we are in need of grace and that just the privilege of being heard is enough. But then as I began to study that, I learned that the early church monks, especially the hermits, they were looking for ways to fulfill this idea of praying without ceasing. And the prayer began to shorten for particular reasons until finally they were left with, Jesus, have mercy. And they practiced that by breathing in, Jesus, breathing out, have mercy. And as they walked along the road, every breath was this prayer, Jesus, have mercy. Jesus, have mercy. And to that, they learned how to pray without ceasing. That is part of, for me, the heart of essentialism as opposed to simply minimalism. It isn't just about getting rid of the things you don't need or simplifying your life or becoming clutter-free. It is about living with a single element of purpose in everything that you do. When I was at Lee College, now Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee, and I was studying for the ministry, I took a preaching class there, and Dr. Luther Painter was our professor. He had this one thing that he drilled into us over and over and over. You have to study 1 hour for every minute you're going to preach. The idea was that the sermon should be no longer than 20 minutes. Kind of like in this YouTube channel, I've tried to make the commitment, I'm not going to fulfill it every time, but I've tried to make the commitment of staying under 10 minutes. And so as you study, as you continue to write out your thoughts, maybe write a manuscript for the sermon you're going to preach. If you're too long, if you're at 25 or 30 minutes, you have to find the places in that message that are not essential and just cut them. And by doing that, what you say has a much greater impact because it is essential. I'm finding that true as well. I'm writing a book, and there'll be more about that later, but I'm writing a book about my own spiritual journey, and I'm tying that into the lives of St. Francis and St. Clare and the hill town of Assisi, and some songs that were written by a Christian recording artist by the name of Bebo Norman, and putting all of that together into a book that makes some kind of sense about my own journey. And in the writing process, you just write. You write more and more and more and more, but you can't sell that. In order to have a book, you have to go through that with a fine-tooth comb and cull out everything that is not necessary. It's not just about writing less. It's not just about fewer pages. It's not about being minimal. It's about being crucially essential. These words have meaning. They stay. These words or puff they can go. And to get down to the heart, so where you think you might have a 60 or 70,000 word book, by the time you get done, it might be 20,000 words. But it's the right 20,000 words. And so for me, this is sort of the crux of what I mean by essentialism. Not the fact that I'm only going to have what I need essentially to live, one fork, one spoon, one knife, one plate. It's not about that. It is about being purposefully selective so that by spending less in a minimalistic lifestyle, and I have more money to spend, I can spend it more wisely by buying things not only that truly matter, but are of great quality and will last for a long time. Minimalism is kind of like this overarching umbrella. It's a spectrum. And essentialism is in that spectrum somewhere. And it's in one place for me, and it may be in a different place for you. But all I can talk about is my own experience and my own life and desires. So in my bedroom, when I talked about getting rid of those two big pieces of furniture, I'm going to have a huge blank wall on the side of my bedroom by the door. It will be at least 7, maybe 8 feet of nothing but blankness. And to some, that blank wall will bring the most meaning and clarity. That's their essential. And to others, they may have a grouping of family portraits all along that wall that brings them joy, and that's their essential. I have an idea for what I want to do there, and I'm looking at options of what to buy because I don't want it to be just a blank wall. But I have an idea, and I'm letting that simmer sort of in the background for a little while I think about, is this really, really, really the essential piece that I'm looking for to make this room purposeful for me? Those are the kinds of things that I'm dealing with, because essentialism is not about decluttering my house, and neither is minimalism. It's about decluttering a life. There have been numerous studies that indicate that children who have a plethora, I just love that word, a plethora of toys, those children are less satisfied, less happy, and more depressed, and do worse in school than children who have less. But that's not the mindset we're taught to attach ourselves to. The more we have, the more we try to shove stuff in here or there or some other place around the house, just because we have an empty drawer or a half-full closet, we can find someplace else to put something. That just leads to chaos. And chaos is not good for a simple, serene well-being. It is about the essence of peacefulness, calmness, and living with purpose, so that every purchase made, every item left, there is a reason for that to be there. There is a purpose. It is essential to my well-being. I don't know if that does a good job of clarifying that or not. There were people in the comments who, were giving me very good constructive feedback about maybe I was really doing minimalism all along and didn't really understand essentialism. And maybe that's true. This is the definition for me. Yours may be quite different. And that's the beauty. It is the beauty of a personally lived faith. It's the beauty of a personally lived political viewpoint. It is the purpose. It is the beauty of a difference in the way we parent or the way we cohabitate with a spouse. It is all personal. It's all individual. So I can only talk about me in these videos, and I hope that's enough, but I hope that it sparks something in you to make you think differently, perhaps, or to just validate the way you're already thinking. I have read many. In fact, I've tried to read all the comments. There's no way. I spent almost 2 hours going through comments yesterday. I can't reply to them all, and I apologize for that. And some of them literally made me cry, literally, because they touched the very essence of me in their own honesty. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.